Online. You better be online. How much I've sacrificed. You know how much I sacrificed. Oppa Lisa, and we are online. Online. Oppa Lisa. Okay. No. 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 It's a little bit cracky, but we will fix it. We'll fix it. It's not the end of the world. However, now it shouldn't take too long for us to get into the stream. Not this time. Nah, nada. Well, that's actually a woman's name, generally speaking. Alright, time to send it to everybody I know and love. Let's do this shit. Okay. Everyone in my server, which you definitely should join. Link is in the description of my channel, not in the description of the stream. I know it can get confusing at times for many people. Video content. Let's do this. Okay, let's paste it. Here we go. I'm closing Discord on my desktop. Still, stream is on. Bit. Beautiful people. Yes. Beautiful people. YouTube self-promotion. Here we go. Paste it. Send it. Hopefully they people join. I am not going to touch that. No, thank you. Not right now. Not here. Let's see. Anybody here? Anybody watching? 2 minutes. That's actually better than we usually have. We usually pretty late when it comes to these things. In any case, let's open live chat. Anybody here? Anybody? Still nobody? Well, that hurts. Test. Alright. The voice is going alright. So we're going to go with the natural order of things, put it on live, and here we start. Okay, yeah, as you can see, today we're playing Collapse, The Collapse, a political simulator, and we're on version 5, Determination. It's like playing Undertale all over again. Now we have mod creation tools. This is so exciting. Alright, let me just put on some music. Auto save, auto start, goes, sound. Going to apply. So here we have it. Collapse, a political simulator. It's a game. Hold on, let me just fix my position over here. Okay, this should do the trick. So this is a game I wanted to actually stream 1 year ago. However, just as I wanted to stream the same day almost, I received information from the Kremlin Games server that they are working on a massive quality of life update for Collapse. And I waited for this one, and it was released on New Year's Eve. And here we have it, Collapse, a political simulator. The biggest update for the game in a while. And I have a feeling uh, to do just greatly. And here we go. So, to put it quickly, let's summarize the game quite quickly here. The game is set in a fictional post-Soviet republic after the collapse, right after the collapse. I need to guide it through its first decade of existence and shape it up. You are the leader of a political party of your choice, and you will shape up how things go. You can either enter the government or become part of the opposition. So there's a lot of replayability value to this game. Add to it another good thing, which is I want to put music at full volume. Now, what's also good about this game is that a lot of things have been added into the game. So let's start a new game. Okay, so we'll go with standard. This European Republic had just gained its independence, but the state had already fled when the impoverished people and then parties rose in their revolt. The third party is too weak to fight. Try to survive. Alright, so we can go easy or standard. Then we can pick whichever party we want. Communists. You see a lot of Civil Guard. Civil Guard. We're going with the People's National Party. National People's Party takes the best from nationalism and socialism, proclaiming the third way as for Republicans, not for capital. We have terrorist methods. International parties cannot cooperate with you. A well-built terrorist network increases the influx of residents. Limit of unconstitutional actions to 4. Fire on headquarters, left. Bitterness towards the bureaucratic regime seriously affects the efficiency of controlled ministries but reduces corruption. The domestic bourgeoisie, right. The threshold for the investment climate in the regions, 50, is control on the controlled of the upper class. We have surmountable strife. The threshold for splitting the party has been raised. Each split hits the party treasury and administrative resources. The third way, left. The party constantly turns to egalitarianism in matters of self-realization, and departure from this line hits party funds, party unity, and administrative resources. The third way, for the right. The party is constantly gravitating towards elitism in matters of self-realization, and departure from this line party hits funds, party unity, and administrative resources. And non-handshake. Both parties are distrustful of the NNP, so the growth of influence on them and the growth of relations with them are significantly reduced every year. The proximity of the gap increased by one, but one unconstitutional point disappears. Right, we can go in more detail and about the party, because now every party has its lore, and every party has its leader. So let's read up a little bit on the party we're going to play with, which is the People's National Party. The National People's Party was formed in 1987. Its members believed that the Republic should build socialism based on the culture and traditions of the country. Until the end of 1991, the party was illegal and conducted mainly terrorist activities, periodically killing reformers and right-wing politicians, as well as conducting raids on the events of these politicians. The most notorious terrorist attack was the murder of Vladimir Zelensky, a member of the Bureau of the Central Committee of the CPR, who has reformist views. Later, the party had to reconsider its views, and it was decided to abandon the terrorist struggle and switch to a legal basis. In 1991, when it became clear that the power began to weaken, the national parties began to prepare an armed uprising in order to overthrow the government of Zulnik and Sherabinsky. Contacts were made with establishment terrorists. Weapons and ammunition were purchased from them. Agitation was intensified and other activities. However, in August of this year, the police raided some buildings of the MPP on suspicion of preparing to overthrow the government. As a result of the raid, evidence of preparation was found and the party was banned. However, this is not prevented from acting only delayed the mutiny. In December of 91, when all parties went to large people realized that it was time and raised an armed riot in the east of the country. As a result, a military unit was taken. The commander of the uprising was a friend of the commander of the military unit and convinced him to switch his side. A couple of farms near it. However, the party again abandoned the idea of rebellion and switched to more parliamentary methods. party formed two wings. Left, wishing to build socialism according to the paths of Gregor Stasser and Ernst Kish. Oh fuck. And right, which is to the precepts of Stasser and Ernest Homer. Oh fuck. Yeah, I don't think I don't think any of these are good. Okay, okay. Let's say the left wing wants Nasserism, and we roll with that. Right wing wants Pinochet. We roll with that. Social modifiers. First, the methods. Okay, so we already read this. Big actions. We can do sabotage. Brain sabotage in the selected region in order to destroy its economy. For the left, the number of private corporations. For the right, the number of small businesses. Robbery. Illegal activities for 50. Of another party to plunder the party treasury. Ah, we're like pirates. Influence. Expand the influence of our party in the ranks of soldiers. Volunteers. Secretly send our soldiers to fight abroad. Since pieces for the left, influence and relations with the Russian Federal Union, I think. And the CIA. Oh no. That's these are factions. The CIF for the right with the RPC and NAN. Star. To lure some celebrity to the side of our party. Every two celebrities give 0.1 to party unity. To the left, and in our regions, the aggressiveness of the lower classes reduced. If the right, then the upper class. Alright, back to the game. So we already established who we're going to be playing with. As you can see, these are the other parties. Each and every one of them are going with standard. And they all have their own stuff going on. More factions. Right, so here we go. Here we start the game. And of course, once we start, we're going to have these things, the pre-game events. 1951, new member of society. And thus, we were born into the family of. We're simple republic. We're from a simple Republican family. We grew in an ordinary Soviet family, with most of ordinary chores and needs. Childhood was the same as that of most Soviet children. School, outdoors, summer vacations with your grandmother in the village pioneer camps. Life is a continuous series of adventures. Let's go with girl. You're strong and dependable. A week later, a woman in labor was discharged from the maternity ward. With you, all relatives and friends on that day shared the happiness of your parents. Father fisted his arm and said, "Look, dear, she is just like his mother." Oh my god. Yeah. Sometimes the Kremlin games are not known for good use of pronouns. For example, his, her, when it comes to female characters calling them his. It happens in translation. We went to economic faculty, medical university, higher party school under the central committee of the CEO. Oh wait, so female, a female protagonist has other paths to go into college. At school, you were one of the most successful students, constantly participating in various Olympiads in the humanities and often winning various prizes. The teachers admired your talent and prophesied a great future. You graduated from high school with a gold medal and are now ready to move on to the next stage of your life. You choose economic faculty, higher party school under the central committee of the CPSU medical. We're going with the higher party school. And Lenin is so young. Okay. Thanks to the Soviet education system and your personal efforts, you easily entered the most prestigious Soviet university. You diligently study Marxist Leninist philosophy and dedicated to science. Your first course flew by instantly. New acquaintances, studies, student life, great time, right? The continuous adventures. You also studied hard at the university, and your work did not go unnoticed. Multiple medals and prizes at all union competitions confirmed this. In your third year, you made good friends with your classmate, Sergei, who until then had always remained in the shadows. Sergei, by origin, was the son of the directors of one large Republican enterprise known throughout the Union. Once, when you were once again preparing together for the final exam in dialectical materialism, Sergei mentioned that inauthentic socialism was built in the Soviet Union. He told you about a secret group of Marxist Leninists began distributing leaflets against you throughout the city. Your friend invited you to join the underground movement, yet he said that this case is very dangerous. You refused politely. You refused to join the circle. A couple of days later, you learned from Sergei that all of the members of the organization were arrested by the militia. Soon everyone except the leader of the organization was released. They were expelled from the university and they come someone. Now they will have to go to college. Life is a continuous series of adventures. First and only, the days followed each other, the years passed, and suddenly the last course came. You also continued to study well, and often spent your free time with Sergei. Marxist-Leninist groups in this context means they were Trotskyists. They were not MLs, they were Trotskyists or Stalinists. But I doubt it were Stalinists because it was pretty much Trotskyists because as you will see soon, Sergei is a piece of shit. He's a piece of shit capitalist asshole. So, and by the way, is my voice alright? So yeah, I think this was a Trotskyist group. The days followed each other, the years passed, and suddenly the last course came. You also continued to study well and often spent free time with Sergei. In the library, Sergei accidentally met his compatriot Vladimir and introduced you to him. You, as a person not very fond of new acquaintances, grudgingly shook his head, but then you saw his eyes. Something inside you changed dramatically. A lump in your throat prevented you from uttering and squeezing out even one word. You did not notice how that evening passed. He said that he had come from the east of Republic to enter the same university. He also left you his address and invited you to come in for a cup of tea somehow. You were in seventh heaven. You were impressed by his mind. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Hey, Gulyots! I have a husband, and he's a talent and everything. Taken out of context, this will be very terrible for me. But anyway, husband, talent and everything. Your life will no longer be the same. You increasingly began to spend time together, which made Sergei very sad, with whom you, on the contrary, began to see less and less often. Life is a continuous series of adventures. Syrian Revolution, and nevertheless student life went on as before. On a completely ordinary day, the rector's staff invited the famous Chilean communist Manuel Lacunoz to give a lecture. As you know, quite recently a coup d'etat took place in Chile, as a result of which the socialist government of Salvador Allende was overthrown and a military junta headed by Augusto Pinochet came to power. Luconzo, known for his outstanding oratory skills, spoke about all the brutality of the established Chilean regime, mass executions, repression against the communists and their sympathizers, growing social stratification, poverty and misery. This is how he described his once prosperous homeland after the military uprising. You sympathetically received what hurt. Reacted with sympathy to the hardships of the Chilean people. You are now having a very hard life under the yoke of the fascist government of Pinochet, who are now. At lunch, you shared your opinion with Sergei, but he only said that this is senseless propaganda, and it is better to keep quiet about such things if you don't want to get kicked out of the university like those Marxist Leninists. She's still salty. It's not my problem you hang out with Trots. By the way, we had a league of Trotskyists in Lebanon. All of them switched sides to the fascists during the Civil War. It's an entire league of Trotskyists. So, goes to show, Trotskyists. New life. You graduated from the Institute of Marxism-Leninism and your talent did not go unnoticed. You were invited to work in the capital's regional party committee where you took the position of chief specialist of the department. You very quickly became friends with the head of the organization. To some extent, he became your mentor and helped you get used to the new place. However, finding him in the workplace was very problematic, since he very often went to the places to resolve issues. When he was absent, his deputies often loaded you with work that, in fact, you should not do. Because of this, you very often left closer to it that you became satisfied with the alignment of events and complained to the director. I continued to work. This lasted for several weeks, but one day the director's secretary came up to you and kindly invited you along with the company to go to a bar and have a couple of glasses of water because I do not drink. He apologized. Wait, I'm actually a woman in this. He apologized and said that they had such a tradition of just checking new employees. You had a great time and eventually became fully integrated into the team. Soon you got a promotion. Life is a continuous series of adventures. And now the moment has come. You have already met for several years and have become truly inseparable. One fine evening, Vladimir invited you to our restaurant and made you an offer. Just need to strength and answer, yes, yes, I agree! The wedding have any disadvantages. The wedding was focused when guests and relatives came, but Sergei, whom you have not seen for a year, has completely disappeared somewhere. They didn't even congratulate you in return, despite the fact that the invitation was sent. According to your position, you received a special spacious two-room apartment and celebrated the housewarming. This is how your happy life together began. Vladimir, my comrade in shining red star. Long way up. For the past 3 years, you have worked hard on your new position, and your work has not been wasted. On the recommendation of the Secretary of the Regional Party Committee, the PNP, naturally, Galiots, the NNP, the fucking Nazbols, natural. The past 3 years, you have worked hard in your position, and your work has not been wasted. On the recommendation of the Secretary of the Regional Party Committee, you got to work with the Republican Komsomol, becoming its chairman. The family was offered free car. However, you have been using your father's Zikuli for a long time, which has been given to him in honor of the 30th anniversary of the victory. As a veteran pilot of the Great Patriotic War, who received a hero of the Soviet Union, you realizing that you don't need a car, as an honest communist, refused, as there are those who need it more. Who need it more. I mean, yeah, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. Sorry. Give up on the advantageous positions for which you earn the respect of your colleagues. Nevertheless, even without a second car, your family lives prosperously and does not know the problem of the shortage of luxury goods, which by the beginning of the 80s has become very aggravating. First assignments. The Olympic Games will start soon. As you know, Republic will host the preliminary games and quarterfinals of the football tournament. So Moscow demands to carry out intensified propaganda work with our citizens and tourists in order to demonstrate the advantages of social system. This task is assigned to your party department. Perhaps if everything goes off without a hitch, you can count on a raise. You decide to order a standing committee to knit a large number of second hammer badges, and yeah, someone needs to continue this. Carry out party work with party members and hang up posters. Invite a rock band to compose patriotic songs. Foreign tourists who believe that modern culture and music were completely absent in the USSR were convinced of the opposite. During the competition, open-air rock festivals were held several times, in which the most famous Soviet groups participated with especially written songs praising life under socialism. Western citizens were very impressed by the pictures of Soviet life, the achievement of culture and economies. Before that, they only imagined the USSR as a closed totalitarian country with an all-powerful KGB. However, as it turned out, under socialism, the same people live as in the West, with their feelings and experiences happy with life. The Olympics went off without a bang. The USSR took the first place in the medal standings. This, of course, isn't surprising, given that Western countries successfully boycotted the competition. And a large amount of material appeared for Soviet propaganda behind the Iron Curtain. There were more than once cases when children or students with Soviet badges expelled from schools and universities. The Soviet leadership noticed your efforts and awarded you the Order of Lenin. Life is a continuous series of adventures. Today is a lucky day. You had twins, a boy and a girl. Your joy knew no bounds. Nevertheless, sitting on maternity leave for a long time will not work. You will have many unconquered peaks at work, but family is more expensive, isn't it? Comparing all the pros to cons, you said that it's time to correct this misunderstanding. You as a real family person, by the way, this is not a jab that women should not work and should dedicate themselves to work, to the family, not at all. Women can balance between family and work quite efficiently, may I add. And I did this because you see, it does have its quite perks, to be a family man or a family woman. I really should have picked the man option. It could have cost me a lot of awkward positions. But anyway, oh wait, speaking about Marxist-Leninism, there is a faction within the CPSU called Marxist Platform, a political faction aligned with Marxism-Leninism, basically moderate Stalinist, that only appeared in 1990. Well, a little bit too little too late, if you ask me. 1990. Whew. Like a few months before the collapse. You, as a real family person, have decided to give your children a real and happy childhood, and have devoted your life to raising children. You named your daughter who now looks like you, Nadezhda, and named your son Stefan in honor of your grandfather. of the Civil War. However, life has become even more similar and boring. Every day has become similar to the previous one. Have become more absent. Yeah, I'm aware. When you put it like this, it did happen. Right? Question of principle. Life was relatively peaceful. The family lived in a prosperity, not knowing of the problems of the growing deficit and need for bathing. But one day, a black government-owned Volga stopped at your place of work. Obviously, a big guy from the regional committee. But why? Several people hurried up to the third floor of the building. You heard the loud clatter of shoes, obviously Czechoslovak ones, constantly approaching, and then a knock on your office door. You automatically walked to the door and opened it. Three men in coats and formal hats entered the room. Chief among them, on his left chest shone the medal hero of socialist labor, with a badge 50 years in the CPSU. It was Nikolai Chmielewski, the first secretary of the CPR, de facto leader of the entire republic. Well, comrade, help out your own party. He began. Moscow expects us 300,000 tons of coal. We have now, God forbid, half of it all. You are smart and a number here. Smart, a number here, a dozen there, and the required number will be found. You don't want to disappoint Leonid Ilyich, do you? He isn't well in general. I hope your consciousness, comrade. Ahem. Oh yes, I heard. I hope for your conscientiousness, comrade. Oh, yes, I heard that domestic video recordings began to be produced in Voronezh. I am an old man and do not understand this, but you will need it. Useful thing in everyday life. If you try well, we will put you on special supplies. Do you agree? He asked you. I refused. The judge issued his office. I am a member of the CBS, so I cannot go against my people. He looked at you with displeasure, snorted, and quickly left the office along with the guards. Oh, well, possibly so. Possibly the MLA group are an amalgamation of it all. However, considering Sergei was there, might have been most of Trotsky's. New servant of the Kremlin. Several months have already passed since the death of Brezhnev. The old Yuri Andropov, the former head of the KGB, became the new leader of the Soviet Union. Despite serious health problems, Yuri Vladimirovich enthusiastically began to cleanse all corrupt officials from the state apparatus and remove people disloyal to himself from the Central Committee, replacing them with younger and more promising party members. Various anti-corruption cases broke out throughout the Union, which also affected the Republic. Nikolai Chmielewski, the first secretary of the CPR, who led the Republic since Khrushchev's times, has long been considered a symbol of corruption. The investigation of corruption abuses in the Republic received a new impetus, which is explained by Andropov's long tenure as chairman of the KGB and of the USSR, and as consequence by the fact that he had information about the actual state of affairs in the Republic, as well as the hostile relations they had developed earlier between Andropov and the guy. The so-called miners case thundered across the Republic, realizing that this is a good way to declare yourself and show your loyalty to Moscow. You roll all over on everyone involved in the machinations of the Republican minds. For your loyalty, you received a new position, the first secretary of the Capital City Party Committee. Whew, a lot of talking. Chmielewski committed oh, I cannot say that. A month after the incidents, in your new position, you were disliked for your obvious ties with Moscow. You maneuver between local party officials and the Kremlin. Continue to try to distance yourself from. You will maneuver between local party officials. You have skillfully tried to contain the tension between the local elites and the Kremlin, trying to save several potentially innocent party members from persecution, for which you earned the respect of the Republican Party members. Gennady Zubov, loyal to Andropov, became the new first secretary of the CPR. And within the Marxist platform, there was a man named Sergei. However, the information about him is kinda rare, since only available information about him was in Russian page of Wikipedia. Ah, I see. Possibly though, possibly it's a reference to the Marxist platform or a bunch of other parties. House concert. It just so happened that Yuri died, and recently a new anecdote was born in the country. Chernenko, without regaining consciousness, took up his duties as general secretary of the party. With this saw, the so-called apartment concerts have long been widespread. A concert held in an ordinary apartment at home. Under Brezhnev, the attitude towards them was tolerant. But now, on the initiative of Chernenko, performing at such amateur concerts is equated with entrepreneurial activity that follows the monopoly of the USSR state concert. In this regard, Moscow demands you carry out demonstrative raids on you agree with concert owners for. Oh no, we ignore the requirement because it's fucking bullshit. Did not consider it necessary to fulfill Moscow's demands, for which you received the reputation of a renegade in the Kremlin. But what's the point in fighting these rock concerts at all? You can't catch everyone. New wise leader. After the sudden death of Chernenko, who 2 days before his death, while undergoing medical treatment supported by Viktor Grishin, suddenly appeared on the television screen during the elections for the Supreme Soviet of the SFSR. And the difficulty added a few welcoming phrases. A young and ambitious newcomer from Stavropol, Mikhail Gorbachev, became the General Secretary of the CPSU Central Committee. All citizens of the Union associated their future and change of life for the better with his name. You warmly welcome the new leader. You congratulated Mikhail Sergeyevich on his assumption of the post of General Secretary. In Moscow, meanwhile, the first party reshuffle began. All party workers take their place and make their way for the young. Arrest in capital. The other day, during a record short plenum of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of Republic, which lasted only 28 minutes, Gennady Zubov, an ethnic Republican, was no longer a young leader of the CPR. Appointed by Andropov, was reformed from his post as first secretary of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of Republic. In his place was elected the first secretary of the Astrakhan Regional Committee of the CPSU, Vasily Drozdov, sent on the recommendation of the General Secretary of the CPSU Central Committee, Russian by nationality. The Republicans were hostile to the Varangians sent by Moscow. However, student rallies soon broke out in the capital. Demonstrations began when the first groups of Republican youth came out demanding that Drazodov's appointment be cancelled. Rumors of a performance in the square instantly spread throughout the city. In the morning, crowds of young people, led by active national patriots, came out in front of the building of the Central Committee. The demonstrators' poster read, "We demand self-determination. Each nation has its own leader. Don't be 37. Put an end to the great power madness. Moscow demands an immediate end to nationalism and republic. You make a speech and urge everyone to disperse." He gave a speech during which during a student demonstration and tried to educate the rebellious youth. However, this only led to further escalation of protests. Military units were brought into the capital. The military attacked the protesters and began to clean up the city. Sapper shovels and batons were used. The protesters were beaten, sometimes very severely. An emergency regime was declared in the region. Moscow ordered to classify information about the rallies and not to display anything about them in the media, as well as hold a party meetings at enterprises and factories. Order restored. Children's Party. Today, you have had a particularly good day. You have been invited to tomorrow's meeting of the Central Committee of the CPR, at which quite possibly the question of accepting you as candidate for the Bureau of the Central Committee of the CPR will be raised. However, on the same day, a children's matinee will be held at school for your children who have already gone to first grade. But what is more important to you, family or career? You have chosen the only correct path and went to the matinee. I mean, like, fuck it. With my hindsight knowledge that the USSR is about to collapse, it will not make any fucking difference. And the lower people loves me. You made the only correct decision and went to the children's matinee during the performance of your children. You were so glad that you even cried a little with happiness. On this day, you were not included in the list of candidates for the bureau, but you felt like a real mother. Ah, my heart grows. A prodigal friend. Prodigal friend. Today, your secretary brought you a folder with a list of the visitors you were supposed to receive today. Among them, you saw Sergei Vinogradov. You looked in surprise and wondered. It was him. The last time you saw Sergei more than 10 years ago. After there was not a rumor about him. However, in the early 80s, through third parties, you heard that he managed to escape from the Soviet Union to the west. But nothing more. Nevertheless, the working day was coming to an end, but the most expected visitor never came. You have already started getting ready to go home. At that moment, there was a knock on the door. A man with a mustache, wearing imported jeans and a short-sleeved shirt, walked through the door. It was Sergei. You did not immediately recognize him, since he was changed significantly during this time, and no longer looked like the downtrodden student that he was. It would seem quite recently. Well, hello. I see you've gotten a good job for so many years, he began. I know, we haven't seen each other for over a long time. I'm sorry it happened. All this time he wandered around the small office and seemed to say this to himself. You, or rather, most likely, you, he said the last word with obvious malice, glancing at the odor of linen on your jacket. Can ask yourself, where did I disappear for so long? To answer in advance, I managed to escape from the Union. Let's omit the questions of how. In the early 80s, I contacted the country's largest group of dissidents who published banned literatures in the USSR through their samizdat. I have no idea what's that. What for? So I then got the idea to write my own book in which I could show the truth about life in the USSR. It is understandable that there is such a truth that the Soviet censors would never have have never admitted to the press, but censored Chekists started hunting us when I tried to smuggle it to the west. So I had to flee the country. At first, I lived in the FRG. I even saw Pravdolikov himself, and then I left for France. By the way, here's my book. I can leave an autograph right now if you wish. He finished and threw a book on the table with the laconic title Half the Country Jail. No wonder it was banned, he said with a grin. But if you wanted to see me, then why didn't you just come to our house for a cup of tea? Sergei thoughtfully looked at Gorbachev's portrait in his office for about a minute and finally said, this is all because of him, you know. In the West, my masterpiece has become a real bestseller, but it has not yet been published in the USSR. My citizenship was recently returned to me, and I rushed here right away. Generally, I will say briefly, there is an orientation to make some serious dough. As young people now say, you have recently legalized joint ventures with foreigners here, and so the customs office is a complete mess. If you help me to pass all this bureaucratic red tape, then we can get rich quite robustly. How? Perhaps you ask. Yes, just like that. He pointed in amazement at a large box which stood at the door. What is it? You asked. This, my dear, our future business. He answered and took out a device from the box. In the West, they are already everywhere, but in the USSR, they haven't thought of such a miracle of technology yet. Game console for TV. If everything goes like clockwork, then the profit will be simply cosmic. We just need to fool this idiot from customs and take it to the country under the guise of a batch of computers, and then you will sell it to state agencies at exorbitant prices under the guise of new models. Of course, I won't hurt you with a share either. Do you agree, do you, sister? He asked, looking at you with a maniac gaze. You refused. Motherfucker is trying to sell discount fucking PlayStations and sponsor them as new models of computers, automation to the go. No, my friend, no. Multi-level marketing bullshit is not my thing. So he escaped from the Soviet Union, but then it turned back to basically Sergei escaped from the Soviet Union. And once Gorbachev gave him back his citizenship, he came back and started to do some scheme. Sorry, Sergei, but I cannot accept your offer. The party entrusted me with this honorary position, and I am obliged to devote all my strength to the welfare of the working people. Such an act is too low for me, as well as for any communist. You answered. Sergei removed the box and said sarcastically, I always knew you would be a servant of this criminal government. You are losing a lot. The future belongs to us, not to these bureaucrats, bloodsuckers. Goodbye. He took his box and quickly left, slamming the door loudly. However, the book he had donated remained on the table. He quickly grabbed it and put it in the safe behind the painting. Put on your coat, went out and headed home. Party betrayal. Perestroika went according to plan until the fateful 1989. At the end of the last year, the 19th Party Conference outlined the holding of elections to a new body of state power, the Congress of People's Deputies of the USSR. Nevertheless, contrary to your expectations, you lost the elections that were not included in the list of People's Deputies. At the March meeting of the Politburo, you said that all 7 party leaders representative of the administrative and military circles based in the capital. In July 1989, during his arrival in capital, Gorbachev demanded that he resign for health reasons for the post of first secretary of Capital City Party Committee. After that, Mikhail Sergeyevich asked you if there are worthy party members in capital who can take this important post to commend him an important party member or a familiar introduction. No, fuck it. They advised Gorbachev to appoint your close friend, an employee of the Institute of Agrochemistry, a military scientist, Vasily Grigoriev, the only member of the six running members of the Bureau of the Capital City Committee of CPSU who managed to win these elections. A few days later, he placed you in this position. At work in the regional committee, he began to whip out all infectious liberal ideas from the party members, remaining an apolitical supporter of a strong state. You experienced very hard such a sudden betrayal of the party, for the benefit of which you had worked all your life. However, in the early 1990s, you had the chance to return to politics. You put forward your candidacy for the election of the People's Deputies of Republic and won. Nevertheless, despite the fact that you ran for the CPSU during your speech at the first Congress of People's Deputies, you declared your categorical disagreement with the party's position and announced your withdrawal from it, joining the left wing of the United Opposition, formed during the Congress and united around itself all the opponents of the CPSU. After your triumphant speech, you were invited to the first constituent party congress of the opposition, at which the issue of nominating a single candidate for the all Republican presidential elections was to be decided. Among the leaders of the UO are Boris and Zulnik. The first is a Northern nationalist Democrat, a supporter of the sovereignty of the Republic, while the second is a socialist reformer and adherent to the Swedish model. Many opposition figures supported one of the candidates. And now you start your speech and propose the nominee. Well, socialist reformer, the least of two evils. You propose to nominate Zulnik, a well-known socialist and supporter of reforms, as a candidate. The public needs a person who will be able to carry out the correct reforms aimed primarily at improving the lives of citizens. You said the Congress turned out to be in complete solidarity with you and elected Zulnik as the only opposition candidate. Zulnik in turn offered Boris the post of vice president, to which the latter agreed. Decay. Zulnik and Boris easily defeated the candidate from the CPSU. However, over time, 100%. However, over time, you began to become more and more disillusioned with opposition politics. If in 1990 the country already looked sick, but the power was still strong, when 1991 was the year of crisis, the commodity deficit has reached its climax, the market reforms has just begun, but the planning system is no longer working. Republic was on the verge of starvation. President Zulnik actually turned out to be a real populist and careerist, showing his true populist skies. Empty words and exclamations, reform for the good of the people, completely plunged the country into the abyss of anarchy. On August 18th, the day of your 40th birthday, you learned about the coup in Moscow. You no longer believed anyone and fell into complete apathy, fearing for the fate of your country. After the defeat of the coup, you understood that this could not continue. Fully realized that the United Opposition turned out to be an opposition, not an opposition at all, but a pitiful handful of populists rushing to the feeding drought. After the failure of the coup, you realized that there is no political force in the country that will really pull the Republic out of the abyss of crisis. You were finally ready to found your own party, your own brainchild, which includes all people close to you in terms of views. Soon the party will surely gain mass character. In December 1991, President Zulnik signed the Capital Republican Accords, thereby securing the collapse of the USSR. However, the very next day, mass rallies began throughout the Republic. People dissatisfied with the lack of food, lack of gas supply, unemployment, general chaos around, took up arms against the president, whom they themselves elected. Just over a year ago, militia sent by the government to quell the protests refused to raise weapons against their own citizens. Frightened for their fate, the two dipshits quickly realized that it was time to flee. Otherwise, it would be too late. Taking a couple of $100 million from the budget, they quickly fled the Republic, leaving the country even without any power. The Supreme Council of the Republic had to schedule new elections for April 1992. Forward to a brighter future. And here we are. Yeah, Belozvina Accords. beloved. I can't fucking pronounce these names. I am terribly sorry, dear fans. But here we are. Here we are, the start of a new game. And Republic, I missed you so very much. I missed you so very much. I want to play the main collapse. Please. Alright, let's see. Let me check Discord for a quick moment. So we have 78 party unity. We have so much money. We don't have upper class support. Fuck you, rich assholes. We have, alright, middle class support and the lower class outdoors. And thus, it all fucking begins. Alright. Let's check a little bit our party. Illegal assets. We need to fucking build an HQ. The troops. How do I start building them? Arstoska. Actually, I need to play Paper Please on this channel one day, someday. Okay, oh, by the way, tonight there will be another stream, and it will not be a game stream. I did post a community post about it. I hope everybody would be checking that one out. Tonight, between 10 and 11 p.m. Central European Time. Be there. I'd love to share something with you. Alright, so here we begin. First of all, we're a fucking terrorist party, so we're going to establish a wing. We can no longer be content with only peaceful action. The situation forces us to found an illegal fighting wing for special actions now. One of our combat units must capture and defeat the enemy party, so we get a compromising evidence and show who is lucky. Alright. Oh, we can terrorize people, we can burn shit down. We should have to accomplish some action in the PDR. It will be loud. Sponsor action in one of our regions. It will finance one action in Russia. And you murder. Huh. Well, I'm not too sure. We will establish contacts with the International Underground. But decrease party unity but to increase connections. We can do also legal activities. I haven't played this game in a while. Alright, foreign relations. I have nobody on my side. Coalition now. This cruel world of political competition to fight alone is tantamount to suicide, but before we unite we must separate ourselves decisively. Requirements within the established contexts. Alright, okay, now we have an event. Chairman, we are alone in this cruel world of politics, but everything can be fixed. It's time to find an ally among the leading parliamentary parties, but first, we need to establish contacts with their representatives in order to probe the ground and find out their intentions. Right? We cannot make an alliance with ourselves. The socialists, social liberals, with the communists. We need a strong bond with the fucking communists. So you know, it's actually quite funny the lore behind the PMP if you don't play as them. The PMP apparently was founded in 1989 if you don't play as them. It's founded in 1989. It was banned and then it had prepared for it used to be a terrorist organization, basically killing reformists and nationalists. But then they reoriented to peaceful methods until they saw that Boris and the two dipshits were that just got elected were going to fuck everything up. So they prepared for another uprising. However, they were caught and once again banned. But 1 year later, they managed to probe their to peek their heads back from the underground and join in the massive rallies against against the president and the vice president. And now they have returned on the stage. So this is the lore for the PMP. The power of the revolutionary 50. Power of the reformists 50. Why can't I? Okay. Alright. Considering party unity, relations with an ally party, influence of ally party, administrative. So why can't I make an alliance with the communists? No, I think they don't like me. So fuck it. Socialists would do. Fuck it. This socialist. Okay, wait. Okay. I already chose the communists. Makes sense. Time to click next. Let's see. This is a new mechanic, by the way, and it should be good. Now, I'm not going to stream an entire gameplay. Very well, Chairman. We'll begin to establish ties with the communists. Godspeed. Alright, let's see. There's nothing in the research. Please open faction. Faction. I do not know. Okay, so these are the cartels. Club of Generals, Mafia, Feminists, the Patriotic Church, Union of Trade Unions. Let's see, who else? The Rebel Army faction. Support is with the communists. National minorities with the communists. We cannot research anything just yet. But I think I do want the Rebel Army on my side. Or the church. Not the Rebel Army. Greetings, Commandante. Homeland has never before needed a strong leader who can destroy this corrupt and rotten bureaucratic regime. Comrade Chairman, we members of the Rebel Army faction believe that it is you who must lead the upcoming revolution. Only you have absolute authority among all members of our faction. The time has come when we must decide what the Republic will look like after the Great Revolution. I give the chance to you. We will return later because, yeah, we cannot do anything just yet. Republic or death? Dude, your face gives me death vibes. I will not go to battle with you. You smell like a Trotskyist. Don't ask how I know how a Trotskyist smells like. I sat next to one in class back in high school. He was a bully. Yeah, Trotskyists are bullies, and that's why I don't like them. yeah, yeah. The guy ended up with a chair smashed against his head. So, alright, I guess diplomacy. We can't do anything just yet. These are the laws. Okay, so nobody is in the damn thing yet, and we have statistics. A lot of new statistics and modifiers. Alright, so there's a lot of things you can check in this game. As you can see, all of these modifiers, nationalism on the rise, legacy of the socialism, hero of the miners, and the control. Okay, so this established. Lenin is so young. Right, we have these positive relations with these factions, and each party with their own thing. Now we have a special ability. Defeat the party feuds and bring one of the wings to power, and the ability to activate the modifier third way, left or third way right. We have party discipline, an old tradition. Alright, now let us start the game. Okay, homeless homeland. NATO has claimed responsibility for a sewer breakthrough in Volga. Well, the one guy I knew, he was part of the bully crew, so screw him. Less than a month later, in Belozerenskaya agreements were signed. I butchered this, I do not care. And new problems fell on the already independent Republic. President Zulnik and Vice President Shabrsky left the country after the massive rallies have been engulfed the Republic last few days. Woe, reformers and patriots of the nation who vowed with the fall of communism, we would be finally live like in the West, took with them, according to some sources, several million budget funds and immigrated to Switzerland. Their well-being, of course, has improved significantly, perhaps for them, in a sense. The communism promised by the Soviet government came. Whatever you can say about the standard of living of citizens, the protests ended with the fact that the government of the Republic, after negotiations with the strikers, agreed to transfer power before the new elections to the Provisional Republican Committee, formed from the deputies of the Supreme Soviet. The elections themselves are scheduled for May this year. No, I do not think it's Belarus. I think it's just Belarus, Ukraine, Russia. It's these three. Because Belarus is another country, of course, in this game. Um, we need to hold a rally over here. Comrade Chairman, I suppose it's time to have to settle scores with your political opponents. You will have to allocate a certain amount of party resources to direct the people's anger against one of the 6 parliamentary parties. Okay, fuck it. I hate the liberals the most. So, yeah, shit on them. Comrade Chairman, you can rest assured. Enemies will fall before your knees, asking for your mercy. Preparations for protests are in full swing. And we held rallies there. Alright. Energy Minister was convinced of stealing was convicted of stealing the light bulbs from home. I love these. I love these. Right. Now let's see. Let's look into parties that can defend us. Coalition. Relations. Cooperation between our parties must expand everywhere. Let's send our representatives to solve cross-party problems. We can send them money. Our comrades will be pleased to receive funds from our party. One-time influence. Admins. Our comrade the law. Passing a bill that our allies will need will strengthen our alliance. Let's establish relations. Right, here we go. Who's let's see. The socialists. Another strike against the liberals because fuck the liberals. I want to take the capital for myself. But let's not cause a crisis. The European Economic Union and the CIS has formed. Next parliamentary election should be held very soon. Okay, so what will our promise be? Okay, our priority is the creation of a developed healthcare system, well-being of the working class, growth of the well-being of the middle class, entrepreneurs, allied, the revival of the nation of the direct task of our party extends to solve demographic issue. We will be solving the demographic issue, creating a development pension system. There's a lot of things. Alright, so let's go. We promise to bring more babies to this world. By any means necessary. Alright. Sherman, I'm giving you the latest news urgently. Global financial members of the party are dissatisfied with your rule. Private dissatisfied? Fuck you. Now it's time to hold yet another rally against the liberals. Let's see what happens. Elections have been actively going on in the Republic for the last few months. Leaders of the parties present their programs and proposals for the transformation of the Republic tonight on the first Republican TV channel. A debate of the leader PMP with the leader of the CRP, which analysts call the main competitors for PMP, should take place. The winner of these debates, as before, will be determined by the vote of you. Relations with Russia, PDR issue, the social policy, economic, cultural issue, domestic policy, promote the interests of NAM, the Union of Women of the Republic? Nonsense! Even though I'm a woman in this game, promote the interests of the CPFs will raise the culture issue. The result will be successful and successful. Unity of the party, administrative points, party resources, presence of an alliance with the RPC or FU, relations with them, the case of our party and the opponent party of better aggressive in the class in the controlled region, relations with Russia. Let's go with the cultural issue. Following the results last night debate between the audience award goes to the leader who was supported by fuck you. Fuck you. Screw you. Screw you. You know what? I'm gonna hold a rally and strike against the socket. Screw the socket. The post of president remains vacant as none of the candidates have won an absolute majority of voting. Voting according to the Constitution passes to the Supreme Council. The Western region, the National People's Party. The capital, the Conservatives. Industrial region, according to the Southern region. About the elections of the Supreme Council. The Blue Guard received 16%. We received 16%. Communists received. So the Republicans, the Conservatives own a lot of things. Let's look at laws. Right. Let's look at our parliament. I think we can do well with the communists on our side. If you can get the Blue Guard as well, that would be incredible. But then I think you can form a coalition with more than one party. Or am I wrong? I don't know. Okay, the past all Republican presidential elections did not bring absolute majority votes to any of the candidates. According to the Constitution, the Republic, if one of the candidates wins 50% of the election, the votes go to the Supreme Council. The preliminary results for the qualities are the faction for the plurality are ready to vote 16 deputies. For the Conservative Republican Party, ready to vote 8 deputies. The Liberal Party is ready to vote. None of them are ready to vote. Give the votes to the deputies of the Blue Card. So, vote for our own party. 32, 66, 62, 62, 32. You know, We'll vote for our own party. What could go wrong? With the results of the parliamentary vote. Okay, this guy is getting. Alright, boys. We're going back to our old methods. We're shooting this fucker in the eye. Russian General Barkov told how to achieve peace in the Middle East. Isn't that the guy from the Modern Warfare game, or am I wrong? Ah, he turned out to be extremely curious and ended up in an event that you should not have seen. This brings up the window for distributing ministry portfolios. Choice in your individuality. You have found a catch in our game. Good luck. Okay, okay, what the fuck? I did not click anything. I did not click anything. This is no individuality thing. I did not go out of my way to receive this. This was given to me. You cannot do that. You cannot turn my individuality into a game mechanic that everybody actually fucking gets as an event. It's a good joke, but it's us who are the butt of that joke. The patriarch called the main problem of the Republicans' evolution. This filthy liberal system was imposed on us by the West. Yeah, that's pretty much so. Start allocating portfolios. That's it turned out to be very no. All right. Um, next turn. Next turn, I go with foreign affairs and guess I'll go with Ministry of Economics. All right. You know, I think I'm just going to yeah. Um, yeah, you know, with the communists having the Ministry of Industry, Internal Affairs, and Foreign Affairs, and us together, I think we can do some stuff together. Yeah. The new government of the Republic was formed. Okay, so these events, you know, it's what people think about, and these are the factions, what they are saying. The director wrote a review of his film, the only laudable among hundreds of devastating. I do not know. Alright, let's go into the ministry. We have, we will go with multi-vector foreign policy. The Ministry of Economics, we will support the planners. State-owned enterprises should be subsidized because the goal is not profit, but the creation of cheap goods that would be available for the broad masses and startup entrepreneurs. Right. We can do a lot of things in this. Alright. Alright. With that, we return to the map. The contradiction between the support of the independence of the unrecognized Republic of Transnistria, now the Jew Moldova, and the... Okay. Shit is going down in Moldova. And by the way, I'm really sorry. Oh! Actually, yeah, we own South and East. Um, okay, factually speaking, lore-wise, the PMP did stage an unarmed uprising in the East and got a military unit to join them against the capital. So, there's that. There is that. Um, a Kim Jong-un's Easter egg. That would be interesting. Whew. My laptop is overheating. This is not good. Alright. So let's play the game a little bit. For the next hour or so before ending the stream. You know, to actually play this game, I need to stream it multiple times. So, but this is a first look. So, there's a lot of things we can do. Okay, Council of the People's Democratic Autonomy proclaimed the independence of the region. Okay, so basically, that is, we have a separatist region that is declaring autonomy from our own, and we can talk how to handle it. Critical prices for this. Call for peaceful solution. We will call for a peaceful solution. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic ready to prepare the negotiations with the government of the PDR. We are considering only a non-violent way to resolve the conflict. Military clashes will only lead to unnecessary bloodshed among the civilian population and contribute to splitting the country. This is how the Ministry of Foreign Affairs commented. The recent events related to the PDR spreaders are still silent. Come on, we love you. Come back to us. Russian General Barkov, okay. Shit's going down in Georgia. And the LDPR formed. Chadian politician has proposed the creation of African NATO and asked for 1 billion for membership. And since can I actually do some diplomacy over here? Oh, I can't do shit. Yeah, this is not good. This is not good. You know what? We can still do some research. The rebel army faction. Research. I can't even control the research. Okay, this game started up fucked up, but hey, no problem. What's the new law? Abortion law. Only in case of threat to life. Who put forward? Majority system. Income tax. Progressive scale of taxation. We will vote against. And it was rejected. Let's propose laws of our own, shall we? So, first things first, we'll go with abortion. Material support for families. Government intervention. Electoral system. Oh yeah, nobody will. We will go for a majority system. What does a majority system do? Candidates who receive the majority of votes in their constituency are declared the winners. Small parties usually do not access the parliament, and all power is concentrated around a few of the most powerful parties, but the political instability is minimized. Nobody supports it, but hey, we can go for a mixed system. Mixed system. Part of the parliamentary mandates is disturbed according to the principles of the majority system, which contributes to the formation of the government and other part. We'll go with this. Powers of the autocracy. I do not. Presidential elected by the people, presidential elected by parliament. Parliamentary elected by the people, parliamentary elected by parliament. Yeah, no, mixed system. Oh, demographic issues, social help, child assistance. So we need to make more money or great social assistance. Special services for the transport. The VAT. Yeah, the middle class does reduce it. Let's increase the taxes, utilities. Completely state. Oh yeah, completely self. Okay, yeah. State structures about social benefits. Yeah. All right. Let's see what else can we do about percentage barrier. 3%, 4%, 10%. Nobody. Okay. Utilities, land tax, income tax, wealth taxes. No, yeah, and I'm not going to change this. Property tax, high taxes, huge taxes. Not going to do anything. Public transport, fully state. Mixed, private, government, completely private, no support. Special services, enforced patrols, control for communications. Yeah, we're not going to change. Okay, demographic issue. Gambling, immensity tax, limited for minors. Free immensity tax. Oh, for fuck. Prohibited. Okay, not yet. Language question. Several state languages. Youth control. United Patriotic Youth. School lessons on patriotism. Type of control. Yeah. Religion law. Propaganda of atheism. No. Sect persecution. Covenants of the Constitution. Dominant religion. Healthcare. Free healthcare. Mixed system. Yeah, we cannot do shit. Education. Ideological selection of teachers. Lessons of studying of patriotism. Special services rights. Militia rights. Philippine National People's Guards. Use of military weapons. Extended militia rights. Marijuana law. Decriminalized. Only for research. Legal. Actually, if I get the socialists, the communists, me, socialists, and the conservatives, yeah, I can actually, yeah. Oh, I wanted a cigarette tax. Okay, no problem. Alcohol law. Prohibited at night. Alcohol is prohibited. The access for person over 18. Prohibited at night. Or we go person over 18. Supervision of prisoners comfortable for the free labor. Compulsory work. Labor camps. We're going for free labor to get something out of them. So that won't be a huge problem. And with all of these on my side, I can actually start changing some stuff up down here. So, income tax. Oh, fuck. High taxes. Ouch. I need to be safe. The unitary state. Executive national governments. Land tax. Huge tax. Oh. Income tax. Wealth taxes. Land tax. VAT. Average. High tax. We go with average for VAT. Youth control. Schools. Lesson patriotism. Now let's see. Education. Smoking law. I want a cigarette tax for crying out. Court control. Independent, free election, absence for jury, closed judge only forget that. Labor laws, unofficial system, by personal contract, negotiated with trade unions, based on Soviet legacy, nobody. Okay. Pollution control, control in factories, pollution and deforestation tax, renewable energy subsidies, Landscaping program. Right. Anything that has tax in it. Let's get some money. Pension security. Only state early retirement. Pension at 65. Only, okay, and you're not going to touch the pension. Pistols on the license. No license. Right. Non-lethal under license. Road low. Stage free. Owned by regions. Mixed state. Only private. Private allowed. Visa-free regime for only immigration. Closed borders. Visa-free regime. Return subsidy. Not forget. Uh, Property tax. High tax. Income tax. And I think this is enough. Yeah, I think we are enough to pass this package. So I'm going to put them forward. And the package uploads. How the fuck can you reject it? How? People's National Communist 4 16 16 13 13 16. Total amounts. You cannot reject it. What the hell? What the hell happened? This was such a waste of time. Yesterday, the young person, a child, and a pregnant woman had to fight. Oh my god, okay, no. Had to fight for a seat on the subway. Go for patriotism and unity. Alright. Shit is going down in Bosnia. I can't do shit. Marijuana law. Parliament. Next. Yeah, I'm going to vote against. Fuck you, don't vote for me, I don't vote for you, that's how I work. Come on, we kinda need to. I don't have money. Alright, in that case, I'm going to focus on my ministry. Admit women to work in third world embassy. What's the amount of money I have? But I have much in the budget, so sell your vote at the UN, no thing. Encourage the promotion of young personnel along the career ladder. It will decrease the. I'm going to raise and update it. We have the money, so why not? Ministry of Economics. Oh shit, yeah. We're in the red in this one. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. It will demand. You will join the agreement. Make people happy. Alright. Excommunication. It seems that you do not respect our faith and religion at all. You alienate your personality from our Lord. The church won't take it anymore. We were persecuted during the Soviet tyranny. But where are these Soviets now? Do you think we can't cope with you? Each of us, men and women, children and old people, will confront atheists like you. Do you want this? Fortunately, it's quite easy to come to an agreement with us. You can lobby for a law, the adoption of which has long required by the Church of the Lord Himself. For example, gambling. Alternatively, we are not opposed to receiving a protestant donation. The atonement of sins does not interest you. The choice is yours, John. But remember, He sees everything. Bribe the influential leaders of the Republican Church. How much middle class would like it? We're going to bribe them. A very righteous deed, Chairman. Today I talked to him. He asked me to convey to you, told your sins are now forgiven. By henceforth you should be more careful and more Give us more donations. Yeah, they're blackmailing. It got ejected. No problem. Yeah, they're fighting each other. You know. Free labor. Yeah, I mean nothing will be changing soon, but we'll see what to do. We'll see what pollution and deforestation tax, long-term arrests. I'm going to vote for them. Show my solidarity with the lovely Communist Party. What's up with our party, by the way? Our coalition ally. What's up? What's up with you, Communist Party? I'll send you some money. Oh, sending more money gives me more influence. So our residents can infiltrate the upper circles of allied parties, agitating for stronger ties between our parties and spreading our influence there. If the number of residents is positive. Subsidies. We will support our proxies in the ranks of the allied party and make their headquarters work for us. Then we can support one of the wings. Oh, that's interesting. Legal actions. What can I do? Robbery. We have limited connections, so we cannot do much unconstitutional stuff. Yeah, we're kind of limited in this game. I should have picked another party, but I wish you health, General. Uh, yeah, I'm going to accuse the Liberals. Of a regular session of parliamentary, accuse the Liberal Party of Republican of betraying national and military interests of the Republic. In Parliament, a scuffle ensued between the delegates of the Republicans and my party, which resulted in a fight. The aging parliamentaries had to be taken out of the hall with the help of cars. Nevertheless, for us, it was a political success, and the influence of the RP has seriously shaken. Woohoo! That's good news. One who reads the Ruhanma 3 times will become intelligent, understand nature and human values. Yeah, the liberals and they are fighting each other. Not my problem. Over here, we need to strengthen ourselves with national projects. Thus, our state budget is growing, but not our party unit. But today, the referendum held in the PDR with the question of we will not recognize the voting. Yeah, they try to break out, but let's see what happens. This is the Soviet leader. Okay, everyone is happy with my national called this air capitulation to Western Muscovy. Don't care. Whatever it is, we will vote against it. And let's look into ministry. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs is doing incredible, but we need to fix it up a little bit. Let's see. At least corruption has went down. Money is going up. The Ministry of Economics is in a fucking dire state. Even operate. Oh, yeah, this is not good.